Hello, fellow humans. Chris here again. So, wanted to follow up on some of the stories that I wanted to share with my time in Oakland and Medford. There were some good questions posed to me in the comment section of the last video. I actually do have a good story. So, it's not exactly answering the question of how did I comfort people who were apprehensive about getting the shot, but it's kind of related. When I was in Oakland, one of the jobs that I had was working in the check-in department. So a person came up, and I should say I'm a little bit of an introvert, so I'm not a huge fan of small talk with strangers, but I can do it for customer service purposes, and when it's part of my job, I can do it. But when we get when we would get really busy, there would be times when we would get extremely backed up. If I engaged deeply with small talk with each person that I sat down with, it would be a very long day. And also, there's some safety logic there with the idea that you don't want to make any mistakes with people, getting checked in when they shouldn't be getting checked in, or not being the right age, or at times there were people who were actually trying to falsify who they were. So you do have to kind of keep a level of attention to detail. Anyway, this particular gentleman came up. It seemed clear that he wasn't doing great. He said hello, and I said hello, got his name, got his ID. We had done the regular pleasantries, how are you doing? Well, how are you doing? Great. And we started the check-in process, and as I'm getting down his information, I looked up at him and I asked him again, how are you doing? He told me, I'm actually not doing so good. My father just died like 2 days ago. Once he said that, it was kind of opened up, and he was very much still grieving. Obviously, I mean, it was just days. It's just been just days since he lost his dad, and there was raw grief there, and he was composing himself. I mean, he was holding it together, but you could see just beneath the surface, he was still dealing with this. And he indicated that he thought that his dad would be proud of him for getting this vaccine and taking care of his family. It was a way of sort of reassurance that he and his family were going to be okay. And that was kind of his gift to his dad, getting the vaccine. Because, as a parent, you always want to make sure your kids are going to be okay. And we talked for about a good 15 minutes, so the normal rules of trying to keep it moving, trying to keep it quick, didn't apply in this situation. And we just had a heart-to-heart conversation. And I wasn't a therapist or anything. I was just talking to him as a human being. It was a good moment. Again, I could tell that he was very much dealing with it still, and it was raw, and probably still a mild case of shock. But one of the positives of this whole deployment has been having more deep and genuine conversations with people when I haven't had conversations with people in over a year because of the COVID lockdown. So that in and of itself has been kind of a gift and a blessing, to be able to reconnect with just the public again, in situations like that. But anyway, that's not exactly a story about reassuring somebody to get the vaccine, but it was a good moment. I think that he appreciated getting to talk about it to me, and I appreciated it as a perfect stranger, that he would trust me to share that story with me. And again, I just could tell it was very personal to him. It was very meaningful, and still very hurtful for him. And I think that in some sense it helped him to share it. It was good to be able to give him that validation that I shared with him, that by getting this vaccine, you're protecting yourself, and you're potentially protecting your wife and your kids, and thereby you're protecting people outside of your box, outside of your house, outside of your family. That was one of many positive experiences, but that one really stuck out to me. This was 3 months ago probably, and I've met probably thousands of people since then. But this one really stuck out to me because of the organicness of it. It was very genuine. It was very raw. When we were having this conversation, we had, I think it was 12 desks of members who were doing check-in. Customers would come to each desk, so there was all this stuff going on around us, but we were just in the moment. It was just the two of us. Nothing else was going on around us. There was no vaccine check-in. There was nothing going on in the clinic. It was just us, and we were just two humans connecting and having a moment together. So yeah, that was that story. Definitely a fellow human. You gave me some really good questions. I will be doing more videos to respond to some of those, and if any other interesting questions come up in the meantime, please let me know in the comments again, and I will be getting to those real soon. Thanks a lot for checking in on me. I will talk to y'all again real soon. Have a great rest of your day, and remember, don't be afraid to question the consensus.